Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my Week 2 NFL predictions. Shockingly, last week I actually started off with a bang. My record is 14-2 at the moment. I'm going to try my best to keep it up. However, a few games this week definitely are up in the air. And before we hop right into it, don't forget to use code Wyatt's World on G Fuel or Prize Picks, where you can save yourself a discount on any G Fuel products or guarantee yourself to win a free $50 with your first $5 lineup after using code Wyatt's World at sign up on Prize Picks. Like I've been saying too, the Caleb Williams free square is still going on. All he needs is 1 yard for that entry to win. But remember to always play responsibly, and let's get into the video. All right, so starting off with Thursday Night Football, we have got the Bills going to the Dolphins, and I hate that this is on Thursday. I hate playing on Thursdays. I can see this game going a couple directions. I can see the Miami offense absolutely torching Buffalo's secondary, and I can also see Buffalo's D-line wrecking Miami's O-line and getting to Tua faster than he can blink. If you ask me legitimately how confident I am that the Bills are going to win this game, I am going to say 50-50. I can see it both ways. I really can, but since my boys are my boys and they're underdogs, I'll pick Buffalo to win 26-23. Weird score, should hopefully be a good game. Miami, good luck to you. Moving on to Sunday, we've got the Raiders at the Ravens. Ravens win 27-10. This is going to be miserable for Vegas, dude. Baltimore is better than them when it comes to 85% of the positions. This is also going to be in Baltimore, which is not an easy stadium to play in if you're an opponent. I see Gardner targeting Devontae Adams until he gets broken in half, and once he gets taken out of the game, the Raiders are going to fall on their face. Now moving on, we have the Chargers at the Panthers. Chargers win 24-7. Can't really have confidence in Carolina after their performance, and it's really hard to now knowing that they're not going to have Derek Brown. Jim is going to push them around the same way he did with the Raiders. I'm not expecting a ton of huge plays, but I am expecting a lot of very time-consuming drives coming out of LA, and I think majority of them will end in some form of points. You know, I thought last game was easy to predict. This one might be the easiest. Is there anybody here who actually thinks the Panthers are going to win? Now we got the Saints at the Cowboys, and I am calling a blowout here. Dallas wins 30-13. I think the Saints are going to come out of the tunnel with the energy of 53 raging bulls hyped up on testosterone. And by the end of the first quarter, there is going to be 53 checked out men sitting on a sideline. This is not the Panthers. I think this is a lot like the Raiders and the Ravens too. You know, majority of the positions on the Cowboys I think are a lot better than the Saints. You know, I said majority, not all. I think this is going to be a Dallas team that gets an early jump on the Saints, which is going to force the Saints to play a little bit more aggressive, which I think in the end is just going to end up putting them farther back because that's where mistakes are going to be made. Like I said, blowout. Now moving on, we have the Buccaneers at the Lions, and I think this is going to be the game of the week. We're in for a treat here. I'm going to go with Detroit here, 24-21 in another burner of a game. I don't expect Baker Mayfield to play as clean as he did last week. I do expect him to play well, but I also expect him to be dealing with a lot more pressure. And I also expect to see a fair share of carries from Bucky Irving once again this game. You know, he was very productive last week versus Washington. Why not see if he can do something here against Detroit? Looking at Detroit, I think we're going to see a lot more aggression when it comes to the passing game this week. Tampa has what I consider a pretty good D-line with guys like Vita Vea and Kalijah Cansey. If he comes back, he had a pretty damn good rookie year if you ask me. So this is going to have to be where St. Brown wakes up, or Laporta, but more importantly, St. Brown. I'm rolling with the Lions by a field goal. Now moving on, we have the Colts at the Packers. I'm actually going to take the Colts to win this versus Malik Willis. And yes, I know, as of the time of this video, LaFleur hasn't ruled out Jordan Love, but he's not going to play because he shouldn't play. Don't Trevor Lawrence him. Look, I don't think Malik is as bad as many say, but this is still a new system, a new team, a new stadium, a whole new atmosphere. Also, while I do believe Malik has showed promise, he really hasn't showed consistent excellence, if any excellence really, which is just leading me to believe that it's going to be a struggling day for the Green Bay offense. I also think AR is going to run the ball a ton. JT too, but AR, I just think rushing is going to be the primary source of the Indy offense here. This game to me is going to be pretty slow, pretty boring. It will end with the Colts winning 20-13. Moving on, we got the Browns at Jacksonville, and I gotta go with Jacksonville here. I'll take them 16-10. I don't see it being an exciting game, especially with Cleveland's, defense and D-line. But when it comes to offense, I think the Browns are as doomed as it gets. However, it did just come out that Watson has been sued again, so there is potential that Jameis Winston could play sooner than later, but right now we're still looking at Deshaun as QB1. I think if Jacksonville tries to mimic what Dallas did, and that's move the ball in short increments through the air, they'll be able to get down the field because that's how Dak found success. Fantasy owners for ETN, I'm not certain this is going to be a great week for you. I could be horribly wrong on that. But my prediction is if ETN gets points, it's going to be because he either scores on a 1-yard touchdown or catches a touchdown on a very short pass. Jags will win though because Cleveland's offense is going to be a turd. Now moving on, we have the 49ers at the Vikings. The 49ers are going to win this, but it's going to be a uncomfortably scary close game. I'm going by a point, 17-16. Look, if Sam Darnold plays well here, I might turn a page with him. I'll say that, but I expect this game for the Vikings to feel like you're jumping from freshman difficulty to Heisman. With that being said, I so strongly believe in the Vikings defense and Brian Flores that no matter what the offense does, the Vikings will remain in the game, but I just don't see them beating the 49ers. I will say I do expect to see a lot of Will the Thrill. And on the 49ers side of things, anybody who might be paranoid about CMC missing this game, I think Jordan Mason is just fine. I am curious to see if Ayuk's going to continue to drop passes though. That was kind of weird. All right, now we got the Seahawks at the Patriots. Seattle wins 20-14. Look, New England may have showed that they can compete, but they also showed that outside of Ramondre Stevenson, their offense is kind of a fart. Also, I think Seattle's defense is going to be a lot more aggressive than Cincinnati's, so I am expecting to see heavy pressure on Jacoby Brissett and potentially a mistake or two out of Jacoby Brissett. However, I still don't expect Seattle to just drive down and score with ease every single time, but they will win the game and start off the season 2-0. All right, moving on, we have the Jets at the Titans, and I have the Jets getting a win in a very boring 17-7 ball game. Like Robert Saleh said after the game on Monday, the Jets defense is going to tighten up, because if they don't, then there is a lot more wrong there than anybody knows about. Also, with how bad Will Levis played last week, and with how determined I think the Jets defense is going to be, I can say I probably expect another slouch out of him, and that's unfortunate. Now, as far as the Titans secondary goes, I do have confidence that they will be able to combat Garrett Wilson to start the game, but I think eventually they're going to get tired of getting picked on by guys like Breece Hall, Tyler Conklin, Mike Williams, to the point where they are going to take eyes off of Garrett Wilson, and then he is just going to absolutely rip him up. I still like Tennessee. I just think this is going to be a rough start to the year for him. All right, now moving on, we got the Giants at the Commanders, and I also think this is the start of the 3 o'clock slate. Not certain, though. I'm taking the Commanders to win this game 21-10, probably a shock to nobody. Look, even though this is the one team Daniel Jones has owned his entire career, this is the one team he can thrive against, I still don't see it changing the pace of their season right now. I think Jaden Daniels is going to run all over him. I also think Jaden's going to have his first passing touchdown of his career this game, and if I have to be extra blunt about it, who in their right mind has the confidence to pick the Giants after what they saw last week? It's next to impossible. Now we've got the Rams at the Cardinals, and I so badly wanted to pick the Cardinals here. I just about did, but I can't do it. It's gonna be a good game. Arizona's gonna fall short, 27-20. And here's what I see going down. I see Arizona running the ball all over the Rams. Kyler James, maybe even Trey Benson. They are gonna run a fucking track meet. But Los Angeles is also gonna throw all over Arizona. The Bills had 9 guys who had receptions versus the Cardinals in their game on Sunday. Only one did not average 10 yards of reception. Kupp, Johnson, Robinson, Whittington, they are all going to scorch the Cardinals. And I'm just not convinced this game will go any other way. All right, next game we have is the Steelers at the Broncos, and I have a bad feeling about this game for the Steelers. Now, I am gonna pick the Steelers because in my head, Bo Nix is gonna be fed to TJ Watt on a silver platter that's been baking in an oven for 5 hours at 350. But this is also such a Mike Tomlin game to lose. I don't expect shit from Pickens. I think PS2 is gonna have him locked. I don't see much coming from Sutton. I think Porter's gonna have him contained on that side of things. If you're asking me who I genuinely believe will be the deciding factor of this game, Pat Freiermuth. I think he is gonna be the one who is the most open. I think he is gonna be the one who has the most receptions. I think he is going to chip by chip get them down the field. Enough to at least get 1 touchdown where the Steelers will emerge victorious from this bloodbath with a final score of 10-7. Now moving on, we got the Bengals at the Chiefs. Going with Kansas City to win this game 26-14. There is a big concern going around with Joe Burrow right now, and I don't want to buy too much into the internet hype, but I have actually seen the video surfacing of him where the guy cannot even grip a water bottle correctly, meaning that his wrist is probably pretty fucked up. Like, you can see the video on the internet. He tries to grab the water bottle like this, and then he pulls his hand off, picks it up like this, brings it to his mouth, and then drinks it. I also think that has a lot to do with the fact that he only had 6 passes over 10 yards on Sunday, with 3 of them being completions and his longest one being 25 yards. Burrow ain't 100% healthy, and their offense, including T. Higgins, isn't 100% healthy. I'm not picking him to beat who I think is the best team in the league. The Chiefs can beat the Ravens, they'll beat the Bengals. All right, now moving on to Sunday Night Football, we've got the Bears at the Texans, and I think the Texans win this game 17-7. Bears offense scares me, and not in a good way. Now, I do believe it's early in the season and they can turn it around, but this is not the team to fuck with. The Texans will kick your ass. The only reason I don't have the Texans scoring more points is because I do know the Bears have a good defense, but that will get broken down. Also, in terms of Caleb Williams, I have him throwing his first pick this game, and I think that's a lock. Doesn't mean he's garbage. Everybody throws him. I'm just saying. But yeah, unfortunately, I think this is going to be a pretty boring Sunday Night Football game, and the Texans walk out with relative ease as the winners. And ending with Monday Night Football, we have the Falcons at the Eagles, and stay tuned because this is also my dad's pick of the week. If you're asking me, Philly wins this game 27-16. Kirk is not healthy and his footwork shows it. His entire career, Kirk Cousins has always played with his feet offset, right or left foot forward. The entire game on Sunday, he played with his feet directly side by side. He was standing in the pocket like a fucking mannequin. I can't think of another reason why he would be standing like that unless he's trying to evenly distribute his weight so he doesn't have more pressure on one leg than the other. It's that or the Falcons are intentionally having him stand like an ass. Falcons defense will keep it close, but eventually they're going to get broken down by that Philly offense, and Philly's going to run away with the win. And this game really sucks for Bijan Robinson fantasy owners and Bijan because I don't think he's going to do shit. Dad, what do you think?
Hello, Wyatt's World Junkies. It's Wyatt's dad, or as I'm known on the comments, the Fossil, back with another week's pick. I kind of like that Fossil name. I might use that from now on. I looked at all the games, and there's a lot of entertaining games. I wanted to pick the Green Bay game, but unfortunately, there's no love in Green Bay. And I thought about picking the Cleveland game, but what a dumpster fire at quarterback there. That's a word Wyatt uses. I kind of like it. And I really would like to pick the Cincinnati game, but with Joe Burrow, something's not quite right there. Otherwise, I would have went for the Bengals in that game. But I wanted to get a sure bet so I can be 2-0 to start off the season. So I took the Atlanta-Philadelphia game. All you Atlanta Falcon fans, you guys wanted Kirk Cousins. You got him. And as I mentioned in the divisional predictions, his offensive line is not very good. And I got a lot of flack for that, but they look pretty leaky against the Steelers. Granted, the Steelers have a good defense. And I think they're going to be leaky in this game against the Eagles because the Eagles also have a fairly decent defense, although they're young. I think they've also got 60,000 maniacs in that stadium yelling, and that's going to give Cousins some trouble. Too much Devontae Smith, too much A.J. Brown, too much Saquon Barkley, too much Jalen Hurts, and unfortunately, too much Kirk Cousins. I like the Eagles to win this game and win it handily, 34-13. I've had a few comments about the merch. Well, I bought this shirt, and I'll just show it to you. It's the Wyatt's World Junkie, because I am a Wyatt's World Junkie, and I know some of you are junkies out there too. These are not something that Wyatt has out on his site or anything like that. I just bought it to kind of humor Wyatt. But I tell you what, since there's been so many comments on it, the first person that gets all the games right in Wyatt's pick pool, I will buy and send a shirt to you. I'll just need your size. And if there's multiple people, I'll draw a name out of a hat right here while I'm doing the pick, and then that person will get the shirt. Anyway, all of you Wyatt's World Junkies, have a good week. We'll see you next week.
And that is going to be all for my Week 2 NFL predictions, everybody. If you guys did like this video and you want to show support, please do it because you know I appreciate any and all help. Meantime, I'm going to hop off and get this edited so you guys can watch it on time. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday. Make sure to get your picks in if you're in my pick'em pool. And as always, I will see you in the next video.